Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here today, number 5 of this temporary and very interesting new series that I am currently doing while inside looking back at some of the former episodes that I have created, places I went, visited, moments in my life that have been documented on the YouTube platform. I'm inviting you to join me. Shall you? As I take a peek into the Buc-ees incident of December 29th, 2014.
Welcome everyone, out of the Woo here. That is Interstate 10, I-10 in layman's terms. For the weary traveler like myself,
I have a hooded sweatshirt on.
I'm on day number 2 traveling cross country from South Florida out to the Los Angeles, California areas, trying to get there by the afternoon or even morning of New Year's Eve.
Alright, just a little backstory. My father's birthday is December 28th. That morning I was in St. Cloud, Florida visiting my family, and I had this harebrained notion to drive cross country and end up in Anaheim at Disneyland before fireworks on New Year's Eve. I did make, spoiler alert, I did make it in that time frame. In fact, I went into the gates of Disneyland around 2 or 3 p.m. on the 31st. So morning of the 28th, said happy birthday to my father, hit the road, was doing these unedited daily vlogs on the cross-country trip across. The quality of this is not going to be so great because uploading, or first filming on a phone, and upload speeds were not the best, so I believe the quality is not going to be so great, but it is what it is. You will also notice that the volume is a little louder on what I am screen recording and showing, and that is because I have external speakers. I went out and purchased external speakers last evening, went and got some groceries, went and got some much needed necessities and food, and bought these, $10 set of external speakers. So now we have volume on this end.
I don't think that's a word. It's my second channel, Daily Vlog channel. It's the Daily Woo.
Oh wow.
Thank goodness it's Monday and I'm coming to you.
I used to do this thing where I said, thank goodness it's Monday. Because TGIF, I figured I would cross that into thank goodness it's Monday. This was recorded on a Monday. Here it is. Get ready. Get ready for this.
I am not next to Marty Moose. I am next to none other than Buc-ee.
Yes.
Look at this guy right here.
Look at that blow up Buc-ee.
Awesome. It's a gargantuan blow up Buc-ee the Beaver right here in Baytown.
Okay, this is in I was wondering where this was. I haven't watched this in a long time. This was in Baytown.
Right there.
Baytown, Texas. Buc-ee's is a Texas-based.
We have a problem. There's a gargantuan beaver right in this parking lot. Look at this. Buc-ee.
These unedited videos were so much fun, very sporadic. Let me just pause this for a moment. It was an interesting time in the way I was presenting things, as I would do one take. I would take my phone, I would get hyped up, hit record, and sometimes if I made a mistake in the first 30 seconds, I would hit stop and redo it. But once it got 2 or 3 minutes in to the ball rolling, there was no stopping the force of nature that was an unedited video, no matter who approached you, no matter what happened, or in this case, whatever I dragged in on the bottom of my foot, which is just where I was standing doing that intro, is where I dragged in what you're going to see. It was very awkward, very embarrassing, but unedited vlogs. Am I right?
Spot away from Wally World, you can actually see my van is parked way away from Buc-ee. I wanted to get the whole ambiance and do the Clark Griswold run with Anthony Michael Hall when they're running.
That's a good reference.
Side by side, and Clark Griswold played by Chevy Chase.
The unedited vlogs, I use a lot of words over and over.
The inside.
In fact, a lot of the vernacular, which you might know, which has kind of come to fruition over the years, started because of the unedited vlogs. You know, festooned, words like that, or the because when I would show an item, all that stemmed. A lot of the dialogue stemmed from these unedited. This is kind of almost like a training montage. If you want to get comfortable, with filming yourself in public, try doing unedited vlogs for a month or so, and don't stop after a minute. Do 20 minutes, like this one is 20 minutes and 45 seconds in public, and you will hone your skills. You will get used to being around people and recording. Sometimes people will ask, how do you get under kind of the embarrassment of being in front of people filming?
Let's get a very close, intimate look at what
You're about to get an intimate look at the bottom. There he is.
A beaver version of would sound like.
What would that sound like?
But that's Buc-ee. Look at that. Look at this guy. Buc-ee's right here.
Man, that's awesome. Look at that.
Definitely a very handsome. All right, are you guys ready for this?
I also believe that this was the grand opening of this Baytown store. I was doing a little research I looked up the episode date and number, and earlier I was looking up, or last night I was looking up info on when it opened. It opened that same month. So this was an opening month moment for Buc-ee's, and one I will never forget. A highly requested episode to cover, even though it only has 11,739 views. I am constantly reminded by people about this episode.
Go inside.
This is all over the place. So sporadic and non-still, different filming style than I do now.
To Buc-ee's, Texas. About branding himself. It's all marketing, putting this beaver in your face. That does not sound right for a family.
There was no editing, man, this year. Some of the stuff that is said. Oh man. Now since then they have expanded and gone into other states. I believe there's one in Mississippi, maybe one in Alabama, maybe even one they're building in the Panhandle of Florida. Don't quote me on that, but Buc-ee's is growing. It's kind of like a theme park of convenience stores. Man, okay, this woman walking up is looking at me like, why are you filming yourself? This was before everyone had a camera in their face, so there's a lot of awkward stares. Oh wow, there's an umbrella. This is a Buc-ee's umbrella. Yeah, look at that beaver umbrella. I kind of need that in my life.
Because if I want a duplicating and a multiplying beaver named Buc-ee, I want the small beavers to multiply.
I just realized I have a couple Buc-ee's shirts. I dropped the ball on this. I should have been wearing a Buc-ee's t-shirt, but it's in the closet. Dang. Hindsight is 2020, they say, and obviously I don't have that vision at the moment. People behind walking by are like, what the heck? What's he doing?
Wake up in the morning, just like this guy. This is
Okay, that gentleman that walked by also has a hooded sweatshirt on. His was red, almost like the E.T., the Elliot E.T. Oh look, my hair had my hair cut really short.
Road for a few months, so soon my hair will look like this. If I had hair that looked like this, I could actually get a Buc-ee bonnet.
A Buc-ee bonnet.
I want to do that. What do you know? They're little footballs. Isn't he a sports nut, huh?
A lot of movie reference, a lot of movie quotes. And this was also when I really didn't have a homestead. I was in the van, sleeping in random places, usually parking lots. I would kind of wedge my van in between other vehicles, employees, so they didn't realize that I was in there. I had the window tent, I had the limo tent around, and the shades, and I would sleep in the van and just travel across the country. That's how I did things. That's how I did it back then. Man, I need more Buc-ee's memorabilia and paraphernalia. Okay, it's getting down to it. You've been very patient. I appreciate the patientness. But all this time, on the bottom of my foot, well, the bottom of my flip-flop, was a chunk of some sort of animal's stuff smushed on the bottom of it. Here it is. Now, this is something I do not recommend doing. I am going, at this point, I am going to take off my flip-flops. That's when I noticed this. Now, my foot was clean, barely clean, because the subject at hand was smushed on the bottom of the sandals. And then I tried to attempt to try on some of the themed footwear, you know, like little house slippers. I said, like, my feet are too big, this is not a good idea. A random person should not be trying on these here. I went to slip my toesies back into my shoes, and that's when I realized it had happened. Here's when it hit me, right here.
Notice this or not?
Right here.
Closely down
Look.
there. There is actual poop.
Okay. Now, while I was stating this at a very vocal announcement, not only to the camera but also to the world inside this store, this employee here was walking by. She was walking by. Let me go back. So she probably thought, we got some strange customers. Watch this.
Closely down there.
You're going to see her walk by. Her feet are right here.
There is actual
Right?
poop.
Here she comes, right there. Ba-ba-ba.
There's actual feces and dung on the bottom of my foot.
Now, what do you do at this point? This is unedited. I'm not just going to end the video here. I'm not going to. This has got to continue. I have to escape without. I can't wipe that on the floor. I can't wipe that on the counter. I can't go in the bathroom and wash that off. People would have some awkward stares. So what do? I have to I have to be freed to get back out the front door. Let's continue watching.
That is disgusting.
Okay, I got it.
There's actually dung. Beaver. Hopefully it's a beaver and not a human.
Yes, I hope it was not human.
My shoe. That is absolutely disgusting.
So I believe it was on my right foot, the bottom of my right foot. My left foot was ground level. But because there was this elevation, I didn't notice it before, so I was so focused on talking to the audience that when I realized it was there, I couldn't get it out of my head. And I noticed that I had a little bit of a slight limp because one foot was higher up than the other from the inch or two of said item smushed underneath. You get what I'm saying?
Let's go outside real quick. Like,
I'm trying to get outside.
my feet off.
You're gonna see it. Awkwardness to the highest extreme. Okay, this is where, okay, everyone's kind of looking at me. Now let me clarify, I don't think everyone's looking at me because they notice what's on the bottom of my foot, but they're looking at me because at this time, 2014, it was not common for someone to be constantly talking to their phone. It wasn't normal.
No, because I have about a 1 to 2 pound
1 to 2
on the bottom
pounds.
of my foot. It's actually removed.
I'm amazed. Okay, officer here. Okay, we got a police officer right here. So this police officer is staring at me. Now, I don't know for certain if he knew what was going on down below, but he was. I have the hooded sweatshirt on, which probably I should have pulled that down because I looked a little bit suspicious, and probably because I was talking to a phone, he was a little bit confused. But right at this point, I noticed that the bottom. So remember I was saying that little differential in my steps? It flattened out. It had been removed. That meant that chunk had been dropped right in front of the copper. Awkward.
Officer's actually looking at
It's right back here. It's right back here, right over the shoulder. Listen.
As I was walking past him, the piece of poop
Yes.
has left my flip-flop, slid across in front of a police officer.
And if you zoom in, someone do a screenshot. Tag me on Instagram.
So I'm thinking at this point, that officer, the gentleman with the badge, noticed. Now, he wasn't going to pick it up. He was probably going to alert an employee or someone that works there to bring out a broom and dustpan. But he realized why I was fleeing, because I had left a little memento. I did not know what to do at this point. I'm circling around.
For trouncing number 2, Buc-ee's, in my opinion, is number 1.
Oh, that's a good one. I say I've left a little number 2, but Buc-ee's is number 1. Listen to this. This is a good one. This is a nice little segue, a little promotion for the company of Buc-ee's, which I highly love.
For trouncing number 2 through Buc-ee's, because Buc-ee's, in my opinion, is number 1. Very awkward right now because I have trounced. All right, enough of that.
Okay.
Subject.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
look
Enough of that.
at these.
Now I'm trying to digress. I'm trying to forget all about what I have done in the others. Okay, see, I cannot even.
Seriously, my brain has stopped working because all I can think about
Yes,
is a chunk of
Yep.
poop
that's all it is.
sliding across the floor in front of Here's some more bucket stuff.
Oh man, these little koozies. See, this whole time, I'm not thinking about the koozies. All I am thinking about is what happened a moment ago.
Police officers over there staring from
Yep.
across the way.
I was being stared at now.
Nobody wanted to walk back over there. The thing was so big.
The chunk of what I am referring to was about the size of this.
A little bit of an exaggeration, but it was probably about maybe half that size. It was a good chunk.
Across the floor.
It was a good chunk. That almost looks kind of
Probably will be
similar.
about the subject matter that I'm just referring to. It probably won't be about the
It will not. So I'm stating here that the beauty of these unedited videos is you never knew what the section of those who were commenting were going to be at the start of it. By the end, you knew what the history of said video would go down as, and everything shifted at that point.
And all these snacks, all these fountain sodas, the wonderfully large restroom facilities that are over there.
The most commented thing on the bottom of this video
Will be about
Okay, here's a fun little thing. So Buc-ee's at this time still is very popular, but it's a very popular tourist attraction. These are the facilities right here. Up here it says restrooms. So this says restrooms, even though the quality is not so great. There is a tourist here getting a picture, taking a photo. Over here, someone's taking a photo of her. She's got her hands up in front of the restroom. And I'm guilty of taking photos in a lot of places as well. Maybe I've taken a picture in front of a restroom sign. I don't know, but just wanted to point that out.
nugget that comes out of the rear end of an animal that is still in front of the police officer.
Okay, we're going back over.
And you see him right in front of the cop is a nugget of dung. I don't even want to look over there. Look closely, it's right over here, right over there, right there. He's looking at us. He's looking at us.
Okay, here we go. So I think they might have cleaned it up by this point. So here is officer. Now you can see that now a employee has stood next to the officer, and probably the one that summoned. She might be a supervisor. She might have been the one that summoned someone over here to maybe clean it up or swipe or take care of it. I really do not know the scenario, but they are still there, looming, saying this guy needs to leave our establishment. It's off the rails.
look closely, you can see it on the ground. It's still there.
Didn't see it.
On the ground.
That might have been a little bit of an exaggeration. I didn't see it, but then again, the quality of this camera is so bad. The human eye would be way better than this. Gosh, we're probably 720 we're looking at here, maybe even 480 at this point. So it may have still been there. Maybe they didn't notice it. Could be off base with that. They may not have seen it yet, or maybe it slid farther than I thought it slid.
Sausage, Buc-ee. They have all kind of things in this store. All kind of things to look at, purchase, and now I have left a memento at the bottom of my shoe. It's over there.
Man, I love Buc-ee's. Do not be deceived. I love this store. Probably my favorite convenience store. So these guys here were thinking, that's the guy that did the deed.
Order here. You can actually order anything from here. Wraps, sandwiches.
I would say Buc-ee's, Stuckey's, no affiliation, just kind of rhymes, and Wawa, probably my 3 favorite convenience stores.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get
Buc-ee's is probably number 1 though, where Stuckey's for nostalgia reasons would be high up on the list, but Buc-ee's is still around and very prevalent.
Buc-ee's beverage. I wonder if they serve Coke. Maybe that's what I'll take. Or I'll just take my cup and just try a few different ones. But I'm kind of looking at this True Blue Cream Soda. That looks like a pretty good one. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to end it from outside.
To keep things remotely family friendly, you don't want to say certain words. Like you don't want to say the S word or something like that in this situation. So you have to come up with a template, a thesaurus of a natural, uneducated thesaurus of sorts to come up with different words that can fit into a all age bracket that are watching your videos of the subject matter.
Driving through Houston, through San Antonio, I'm going to try not to stop except to stretch my legs, to upload the vlog.
Okay, I'm still talking about what's going on.
Other than that, I'm just going to keep driving today. Keep driving. But I wanted to stop here.
Why did I have the hooded sweatshirt thing up the whole time? Don't really know why I did that. It obviously wasn't because my hair was messed
This
up.
vlog went a totally different direction
It did.
than what I thought it would. But there you have it. Buc-ee's itself, the most fantastic convenience store
Love some Buc-ee's.
you've ever seen in your time here on this planet or any other planet for that matter. I'm going to let you guys go.
Oh, the quality of this is so bad. That's going to do it for today. If you're new here, please subscribe. By doing so, helps keep you in the loop and update on future uploads here on this channel. I do not know how much further I'm going to go with this series. I am itching to get back out on the road, but not yet. Staying inside for now, just to see what happens, to see how things play out. This is something that's not going to continue on forever. This is temporary, but it is fun. And I love the suggestions. I love doing this and kind of looking back at my life. Most of these I have not seen in years. For example, 2014, it has been 5 or 6 years since I've watched this back. It was a fun time. If you enjoyed this particular episode, give it a big thumbs up. It lets me know you care. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog